So Bill O'Reilly has gotten caught up in the entire misremembering of news reporters. You remember Brian Williams is on a 6-month suspension from NBC News because he misremembered being shot down by a helicopter while covering the Iraq War. Bill O'Reilly has been exposed by Mother Jones reporter David Corn as having misremembered as well with regard to the Falklands War back when he was reporting for CBS News, stating that he was in a war zone, stating that he had to rescue a cameraman. And so using that as examples of his toughness. So it's been exposed that this is not the case. This is not what happened. And instead of taking his cues from Brian Williams, who graciously bowed out, Bill O'Reilly was Bill O'Reilly.
So I don't know if he was even there. And I'd like everybody to ask him, were you there?
Okay.
Because his reputation, his nickname was Room Service Eric. Wait. He is a hatchet man. You know he is. He's an apparatchik from the far left. This is such a smear, and it's a coordinated smear. Look, final word, Howard.
Yep.
These guys want to come after me. I'm here. Anybody who says my reporting in Argentina was erroneous, they can come on tomorrow night.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live!
Instead of taking his cues and having any sense of remorse, any sense of just telling the truth that you misremembered. It was, what, 1980 something? It was at least 25, 30 years ago, and you're recounting the story. But instead of just admitting that he could have gotten it wrong, he decides to go full Fox News, full-throated conservative, and attack and threaten the New York Times reporter Emily Steele, who is on the case. So the problem isn't anymore the lie he said or misremembering. The problem is the fact that Bill O'Reilly can get away with threatening a news reporter and no one even bats an eye. No one. He's not off the air. He hasn't been punished. He gets away with threatening a news reporter and no one says a word. That to me is the most absurd thing of the week. The fact that he can get away with, imagine if he had been a black man. Imagine if he had been Al Sharpton and he threatened a New York Times reporter. Do you think Al Sharpton would still be on the air? He would have been called a thug and put off the air the same day and had to apologize. But Bill O'Reilly doesn't apologize. He threatens and his ratings go up and Fox News backs him up. Imagine if he had been a woman. He would have been called a radical feminist, or God forbid if he had been a Muslim or an Arab. I know in their world it's the same thing, but they're actually different. But if he had been an Arab or a Muslim, not only would he have been called a radical Islamist terrorist, but he would have been forced off the air and probably would have been met by the feds. So how is it that he gets away with threatening people? Well,
but do you understand what the New York Times wants and the far left want? They want to break down the white Christian male power structure of which you're a part, and so am I. And they want to bring in millions of foreign nationals to basically break down the structure that we have.
So there you have it. He says it himself, that America is primarily run by white Christian men. And I'd even throw in white Christian heterosexual men. So there's a power structure that he mentioned, but it's also a privilege structure that he gets to say what he wants. He gets to threaten. He gets to bully. He gets to say words that no one else can say. No one else can get away with threatening a news reporter in the United States but a white Christian male conservative. Anyone else? They're off the air. They got rid of Keith Olbermann for making a campaign contribution to someone he wanted to support. But Bill O'Reilly is still on the air. That tells you everything you need to know about white Christian male privilege in the United States of America. And these aren't my words. He said it himself. America is run by white Christian men. And white Christian men, apparently, Fox News, get to say whatever they want to say without any repercussions. So that's the entire thing. That's what people have a problem with. People have a problem with there being this institutionalized privilege that comes with being white Christian men, heterosexual men. That's what people have a problem with. Yes, he said it in the clip that the left is dead set on bringing an end to that power structure. And not just the power structure, we want to end the privilege structure. Because if I don't have the privilege to threaten you, then you shouldn't have the privilege to threaten me without any repercussions. Fox News is an unabashed totalitarian propaganda machine. And they are not going to take their cues from civil society. They are pushing an agenda that is going to allow Bill O'Reilly to threaten other Americans, when if it had been somebody else from the liberal side, they would be losing their mind right now. They would not stop until that person was fired and they had to apologize. Now, I'll say this to progressive media. Take your cues from Fox News. MSNBC, stop firing hosts because people have a problem with them. If we sacrifice our young, if we eat our young every time they make a mistake, then we will have nobody left. And Bill O'Reilly, Sean Hannity, and all the other hooligans at Fox News will still be on the air. How do you think they're on the air for all these years? And MSNBC goes through 10 reporters, 10 anchors every single year. You guys cycle through so many hosts because of what? Because they say things that you don't agree with, because they cause controversy. And now we see 8 years later, 10 years later, they have been on the air at Fox News, getting away with threatening people. And that's entirely absurd. That just should not happen. No one, I don't care if you're white, Christian, male, I don't care if you're a billionaire. No one should be able to threaten their way out of a situation by threatening a reporter or anyone else for that matter. But apparently that's what goes down at Fox News. And nobody bats an eye. Nobody says anything. Liberal media doesn't say anything. Mainstream media doesn't say anything. And he's going to get away with it because he has that privilege. That's what they do. That's what they do. All right.
Good job.